excited to, like I said, put this presentation on today. It's meaningful to me because, you know, low vision affects all of us really. And so whether you're living with low vision or you're planning for a future that might include low vision, or just want to be better informed, this presentation is for you. My personal story is I did a 23andMe DNA test and discovered that macular degeneration is in my background, and my mom's cousin lives with macular degeneration. So I'm trying to do, you know, I always think of Emily when I say Plan B because she's the one that brought that idea to me. But you know, thinking about planning for the future for myself. So I'm super excited to hear, you know, the presentation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the Health and Wellness team who hosts the speaker series each month. And Emily Slunt is going to introduce our presenter. And by the way, I'll just mention that she's the one that got the Health and Wellness team up and running. So yay, Emily. All right, take it away.
Thank you. Well, it's a real privilege to introduce our speaker for today. We have with us Sandy Neuzil, and Sandy retired the first time from her career as a geologist at the U.S. Geological Survey, and she worked there for 32 years. But since then, she's gotten involved in several different projects to help those who have a vision concern, and she started her second career shortly after she retired. And that was in 2015, and she's been an advocate for people who have low vision. Her goal is to encourage and show others that you can still accomplish a great deal and enjoy life even though and be independent, even though you cannot see 20/20. And some of the activities that she's been involved in as far as her outreach for low vision include being a volunteer for the Low Vision Rehabilitation Optometrist, and that was from 2015 through 2020. Then she led a low vision support group in Reston, Virginia, starting in 2016. And she's given presentations on many low vision resource topics for the Prevention of Blindness Society of Metropolitan, Washington. And she's been doing that since 2018. And more recently, she served on the Accessibility Advisory Committee for Metro starting in 2022. Sandy is married. She's been married for 52 years. She has 2 daughters and now has 3 grandchildren. So I introduced Sandy Neuzil. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So it's my pleasure to be here today. As a second career, this is really, it keeps me busier than my first career, I sometimes think. And I hope I'm speaking loud enough. If I'm not, please shout out, speak up, because I won't see your hand waving. I myself was born legally blind, and as Emily said, I've had a career. I can do a lot even with my legal blindness. So I mention that to help reassure you, many, many vision issues do not stop you from doing what you want to do. So I'm here today wearing my hat, working for the Prevention of Blindness Society part-time. Today I'm going to talk about, I'm sort of going to run through a few things, and I'm going to try something because of my vision issues. I have a very difficult time seeing a light background with dark letters. So my preference is to see it this way. For those who can see the screen, are you okay with this?
That's great. That's good.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to sort of explain to you what is low vision. It's a very fuzzy, very vague, very nebulous term, but it includes a lot of issues. I'm going to sort of give you a few examples of how various low vision conditions can impact your vision. I'm going to also show how those with vision can help those who are having vision issues, and people with vision issues can do better, you know, ways to help you read, ways to help you walk around safely. That's one of the biggest risks with low vision, is tripping on things. I've done it many times. Also, engaging with others. That's really important, not to self-isolate just because you can't recognize people's faces. But my favorite topic in helping you see better when you have vision challenges is discussing light, glare, and contrast. Getting enough light, reducing the glare, and using contrast in your favor. And then I'll tell you a little bit about some of the services that the Prevention of Blindness Society has and some other resources in the area. That may sound like an infomercial, but it's really, there's resources out there that you can take advantage of. So, hang on, technology. I'm trying to make sure that as much as possible is on that screen. It's not completely agreeing with this screen. But about 1 in 10 people over 70 have vision conditions such that their vision cannot be corrected to 20/20 with a regular pair of glasses or contact lenses. That's a lot of people. And a lot of those people don't realize, how much their life is being impacted. But stop and think about these things while I'm talking to you today, and you may realize that some of these things are impacting you or a friend or a neighbor or partner or spouse, and they may not even be realizing it yet. But just raising awareness is important. So what is low vision? Okay, so I already told you that it's, you can't correct your vision to 20/20. Low vision, vaguely maybe is 20/70 or less. Low vision also is if you're missing parts of the vision field or the periphery, or you can't see in the central area. But it can't be corrected with surgery either. So the most common causes, first of all, we're all aging every single day, darn it. You can't turn back the clock. And as you age, the chances of having low vision issues do increase, although age does not directly cause low vision. So keep that in mind. Keeping a healthy lifestyle is your best friend. So the most common causes of low vision are cataracts. And until cataract surgery, maybe 30 years ago became so common, cataracts were the leading cause of blindness globally. And in countries where people can't get cataract surgery easily, it's still a common cause of blindness. In this country, one of the most common causes of low vision underlying conditions is age-related macular degeneration. And as the population ages, more and more people have age-related macular degeneration, and more people are aware of it. I used to hear many patients come in and say, well, I don't know what my aunt had, when we were asking a patient, is macular degeneration in your family? And people would say things, well, my aunt couldn't see, but I don't know whether it was macular degeneration. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you didn't hear that term all the time. Also, diabetes, if it's not managed, if you don't manage your blood sugar levels, it can cause diabetic retinopathy, damage to the retina. RP, which is a big word, retinitis pigmentosa, which is a very genetic disease, but it can creep up on you and reduce your vision as young as 5, 6 years old, teenage, early 20s, 30s. Sometimes it doesn't sneak up on people till they're in their 40s, but can be very gradual. So many people don't realize they have RP until it's progressed quite a bit. And there's also other, weird accidents, strokes to the blood vessel to your eye that can cause vision issues. So I'm going to give you some illustrations. I'm going to go back. This is weird color, so I'll go back to the uninverted colors to give you an example. On the left, a picture of the Statue of Liberty with a nice blue sky behind it. On the right, an example of fairly progressed macular degeneration. It tends to rob you of the vision in the center of your eyesight. So looking straight ahead, you might just see a gray fuzzy area. So if you turn your eyes, your head to the side, you might be able to see out of the side of your eye, but looking straight on, you might not see what you're looking at. It also, macular degeneration also tends to dull the colors because central vision is where you tend to get most of the information about color. Another condition, glaucoma, and also the RP, retinitis pigmentosa, but glaucoma tends to sneak up on you very gradually. It tends to rob you of your peripheral vision. And you might not notice when you've lost the first 5-10 degrees of peripheral vision. But doctors usually can diagnose it before you recognize it, which is why I need to put in the plug for be sure to go see an ophthalmologist, a doctor, MD kind of guy, who can do a detailed eye exam on you at least every 2 years. As you get older, maybe every year. If he says come back in 6 months, listen to him, go back in 6 months. But glaucoma tends to rob you of your peripheral vision, and I find it very hilarious since I have something like macular degeneration and I have wide field of view, but I can't see anything clearly, partly because I'm so nearsighted. But when I'm walking with friends with retinitis pigmentosa or glaucoma, they can see the street light across the street. They can read the street sign. I can't even see the street light. So we're quite the pair walking along, looking out for each other and laughing at each other, being amazed at what we can and can't see. Another condition that I mentioned, diabetic retinopathy. So if your retina is damaged by diabetes, it can be very patchy, that it robs you of patches of vision. So if you're trying to read a book, you might, or trying to read a sentence, trying to read a word, letters might be missing. And our fabulous brains like to fill things in that we assume are there, and pretty soon you've read what wasn't written in the first place, which may be kind of entertaining with some of the news these days, to read something that wasn't written originally, but it can be very challenging because you might miss very important pieces of information. Okay, so I have kind of summarized this already, the impacts of low vision, taking away detail or color, if you're, have macular degeneration, taking away peripheral vision with glaucoma, the muted colors, especially if you have macular degeneration, but it can come from damage to, other parts of your eyes too. The colors might be more muted. One of the things with low vision is often your eyes, different things sneak up on different eyes. Just because something happens to one eye doesn't mean it'll happen to the other. So your sight may be different from the two eyes, and that can often make depth perception very difficult. And depth perception is really important when you're walking so you don't trip on things. It makes it, I think I've always had depth perception, but I didn't know the word for it when I was hiking with my family as a kid. It was always hard to see, where is that rock I'm supposed to put my foot on? And is it lower than the other foot or higher? It's nowadays it's walking up and down stairs, especially downstairs. And one other thing about aging eyes, and you lose some of the retinal cells in the back of your eye with age. It's sort of like you lose nerve sense of touch, and my skin's getting wrinkly and my hair turned gray or white. But that's sort of an aging process that probably happens to everybody. But the result is that most people, as their eyes age, they need more light to see. So Gen Z folks, they may be fine in a dimly lit room. I really need enough light. My husband needs more light. I have to be careful about the glare, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the impact of low vision, and this is sort of the definition of low vision. When you say, I can't I can't read, I can't drive at night, I can't recognize my friends' faces, I can't see the steps, the edges of steps to walk up and down steps safely. If you said yes to any one of those, you have low vision, and it's impacting your daily life, how you do things carefully to be safe, how maybe you do things a little bit more slowly than you'd like to or used to. Hey, but that's just life. You gotta, just roll with it. So how do you help if you're a helper person with good vision? And how do you receive help if you're a person with low vision? So I'll be going back and forth, and I hope I can keep it straight who I'm talking about as I speak. But let's start with, some of the tools that are out there. When people say, I can't read, usually they think, I need a magnifying glass. I need a stronger magnifying glass. And there are many, many magnifying glasses out there. And I will say that the upsides and downsides of magnifying glasses, these are optical magnifying glasses that I'm talking about, are as soon as you hold it over whatever you're trying to read, you've cast a shadow. So I highly recommend getting one that has a light built in so that it lights up what you're trying to see. The other downside is you have to hold it steady, you have to hold it the right distance from what you're trying to read. And then you have to have your eyes the right distance from the magnifying glass. But you'll get used to it. This is a 3.5x that's very popular with that optometrist that I volunteered for. But there's nothing wrong with buying a very inexpensive, now of course the light's not working, there it is. A magnifier, a small magnifier, this one's about 2x, but it fits in my pocket. I can have it with me handy all the time. And many of my low vision friends walk around, actually they'll have a magnifying glass in one hand and the phone in the other hand. But a magnifying glass, generally speaking, the larger the lens, the less magnification you can have in it. It's just physics. So that as people say, oh, I need a 5x, I need a 10x, I need a 20x. I used to use a 20x when I was a geology student to look at crystals. The 20x lens is about the size of a dime. So you can't read a whole word or a whole sentence at that point. So maybe then it's, there's other solutions. I'll get to digital magnifiers in a minute. So I'm going to try to show you this one in the middle is a stand magnifier. It's about 4 feet tall, and the screen on it is pretty big so that you could sit in your easy chair and have that between you and the book and actually still read a book. And I have a friend who's still doing that. She says, it works. I'm like, go for it. I'm not arguing with you. The smaller one here is one that could sit on a table, the same sort of thing, a gooseneck with a magnifying glass on it. And you could get, probably 2-3x at that size, and maybe that could help you at your desk, paying bills or something. But this picture up here on the right, that's the whole range of different magnifying glasses, and I'm going to say, as you get down to the smaller ones on the left side of that screen, you're probably talking 5 or 10x there. This one, it's not a very good picture. This is a dome magnifier or a stand magnifier, and it literally stands on the table so that the magnifying glass is the correct distance from what you're reading. You could put it on a book, on a recipe, on a newspaper, on a photograph, and then you just have to bring your eyes in to see it. And again, if you buy a stand magnifier, I recommend buying one with a light because you've cast a shadow on what you're trying to read. Digital magnifiers. So there are desk size ones, computer screen size ones. They used to be literally a cathode ray TV screen 40 years ago when they were available. And so they were called closed circuit televisions, CCTVs. And that expression is still used, although more and more people are calling them digital magnifiers. So this gizmo will sit on a table. You can put your paper on the stand or on the table slide or platform under it. The camera behind the screen is looking down and taking a picture, and then it's a closed circuit television projection onto the screen. Nowadays, it's like a computer screen or your TV screen. So that can give you an image that's, 20, 21, 23, 27 inches diagonally. But again, if you need a lot of magnification, you may not see the whole column of a newspaper at one time. So you can slide the newspaper back and forth, which makes a lot of people very dizzy. So there's upsides and downsides to this. But these CCTVs, you can change the colors. Like I've done, you can make a dark background with light letters if it's easier to see. You can change the colors of the letters. Like a yellow or a green on a black background is easier for some people, me included, to read. But they're expensive. New ones these days are, $3,000, $4,000. And if you want one that will take a picture of the text and read it out loud to you, you're throwing another $1,000. So they're not cheap, but they're depending on what you do, they may be very worthwhile. And I burned through 2 of those at work in my career, 2 of those at home, because I was doing a lot of copying data, and it was really helpful to me at that point in my life. They have CCTVs, the concept, digital magnifiers, where the screen is about the size of an iPad. I have one of those at home. I don't use it as much as the cost of it was to me, and you're talking about $1,500 to $2,000 for one new. But if it helps you pay the bills or helps you read a recipe, helps you see photographs, and again, you can change colors, enhance contrast, it could be worthwhile to you. Don't be shy. Then they also have digital magnifiers that are handheld or portable, with a screen about the size of an iPhone screen. And that can be very helpful. You could put that in your purse, in your jacket pocket, take it to a restaurant to read menus. It's all in what you want, figuring out how to solve the problems you have. But let's not forget smartphones. Okay, I need a shout out here because I won't see hands raised. How many people in this room have a smartphone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. A smartphone, iPhones have built-in magnifiers on them. Androids have, there's many magnification options, but you can always use the camera of your smartphone, take a picture, and then just zoom in, pinch zoom, and you can get in close if it's a quick look at something. I have many pictures of the price of apples at the grocery store because they put that label beyond where I can see it, but it works. That's my solution. So yeah, you put your smartphone to use. There's a lot of AI. You may be opposed to AI. I use it judiciously. I use AI on a smartphone app to describe scenes, to tell me colors. It's not always right about colors. To read a short bit of text, to read a page of text. So there are many aspects of a smartphone that you can put to your use. And I have to say that 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago, when I started volunteering in this concept of I want to help other people who have vision challenges, this was not on the table. AI only came around about 3-4 years ago, and it's only become really prevalent, helping people with low vision in the last couple of years. But the technology world is really moving at a pace that can help you. So put it to use. Use it to your advantage. I think I'll move on. But rather than magnifying something, you could start with making it larger in the first place. There are large print books. I meant to bring a couple to give away. If you haven't seen a large print book, I've given up reading large print novels because it's just too tiring on my eyes. But there's a few things that are in large print. The New York Times, I think, still has a large print once a week newspaper that just summarizes the highlights from the week. you could use large print playing cards, bingo cards, if it makes it a little easier for you to see things and you can participate in activities. There's large face watches, there's large font, thermometers for things, just many, many options out there. Think about what you want and Google it and you'll probably find it. And in addition to using your eyes, think about using your other senses. Hearing, yes, my hearing's not what it used to be, but I can still turn the volume up enough. So I listen to talking books, and again, another shout out. How many people know about the Talking Books program?
I do.
Okay, good. Okay, so the Talking Books program, and I put that in, I have a handout that will give you either hard copy or send to you as an email digitally. So the Talking Books connection for you guys is over at the Fredericksburg Library, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's a federal program, and please don't ever cut this program. I've been listening to Talking Books since I was 16 years old. It's the way I read most of my novels. Occasionally I read nonfiction. Mostly I use it for fiction. And it's free to those who can no longer read regular print, whether it's because of your vision or because you can't hold the book steady or you have neurocognitive issues that you can't, get your eyes to follow along a line of print. You are eligible for the Talking Books program. So keep that in mind. If you aren't already a member and you know that, if things evolve and you could become a member, keep that in mind. Another possibility for listening is nowadays, I want to say 85 or 90% of recorded television and movies have an audio description channel. Just like there's the closed caption channel so that you can read, if you can see, you can read what they were saying. Well, the audio description channel, you can't have both on at the same time, but you can turn off closed caption. If you can't see it anyway, you don't need it. But you can turn on the audio description channel and that will describe what is happening. It will describe people coming and going from the scene. It will describe their face. It'll describe, to get a sense of their mood. Or it'll help fill in, the quiet parts of TV shows where everybody is laughing except you because you didn't get the visual clue what happened. That's what audio description is for. And if you go to a movie theater, new movies, you should ask, call ahead of time to talk to the movie theater and ask if they have audio description headsets. And they'll probably say, what? Anyway, so press your point. They should have them. All the new movies, big name movies, have audio description available. You can check it out at the Audio Description Project, American Council of the Blind, acb.adp, American Council of the Blind Audio Description Project. And you can look up movies and see if they have audio description. Many that are available through Netflix and Hulu and Disney and whatever have audio description, and you can turn it on and use it to your advantage. Walking safely. Okay, so this is going to go some back and forth. If you're the person helping somebody walk safely, don't grab their arm. Let them hold your arm. So here I am, the person helping. I put my elbow out and say, would you like to hold my arm? Don't say, hold my arm. Ask, offer. Here's my arm. Be polite. And here's the person saying, yes. And they put a C grip, your hand in the shape of a C around their arm. Let them walk about a half a step in front of you. And now I'm the helper person again. And the person helping should be describing, we're coming to a curb. It's a dropped curb. We're coming to a curb, we'll step up. We're approaching the bottom of the stairs. Give them some audible clues about what they're up against. Oh, we're gonna move to the left because there's a tree root bumped up the sidewalk. We're moving to the right because there's a big pothole. You know, description is very helpful. I have often said that I'd make a very good subservient wife. Once in a while, I tend to walk a half a step behind my husband. He kind of notices, he kind of doesn't. He will tell me about curbs. Curb, I'm trying to tell him to say curb up or curb down. But I think he thinks that because I know I'm on a sidewalk, of course it's a curb down. But you know, the extra little word would be helpful. But you always, you know, offer to help. Don't insist on helping. When people offer to help me, I sometimes say, I've got it, because I'll be walking with my white cane. I said, I've got it, I'd like to follow you. You know, so I need to be honest and let them know what helps me. So it goes both ways. One of the things, like, don't move stuff. You know, if you're at somebody's house and you know that they don't see well, don't move things around in their house without offering. I have many friends who say, well, my daughter came over to clean my kitchen the other day and she rearranged my pantry, and I told her she had to put everything back where it was because I won't find it. And my husband my whole family, the kids grew up with me saying, this is the place in the pantry where such and such type of food goes. This is the shelf in the refrigerator where such and such goes. My husband and I got a new refrigerator a few months ago. I still don't love it. I don't think I'll ever love it. But I have yellow tape on the edges of the shelves, vegetables, leftovers, meat, you know, to make it really obvious, because organizing is really important when you can't see well. It helps save time looking for things. All right, I should take a break and let you guys ask questions if you want, and because, you know, I sort of go 90 miles an hour, and if there is a specific question, shout it out, or else I'll keep going 85 miles an hour.
I was at the grocery store across the street here the other day, well, a couple weeks ago, and there's a young man that works there who's in high school, and they're really friendly kids that work there. And I said, did you get glasses? And he said, no, these are AI glasses, which he got for Christmas. And then another day he let me try them on, and you can hold it up and it can read. It's connected to a smartphone, but it can also read what's there.
Right.
And it was amazing. And my sister is legally blind, and I'm heading that way, I guess. But this young man also told me that an ophthalmologist had come in and said that these could be put in your regular glasses. And I've noticed since then, a couple of the newscasters on TV have these on because they're larger, and when I was up close to the TV going through the room, you could see it hooked to her smartphone. But it was amazing, and I told my sister she's going to ask her ophthalmologist about it, but they just held it up and it read it.
So this is how AI can work for you, and I think what you're probably describing are called meta glasses.
Yes.
And they came out, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. They were designed for kids who do TikTok videos, because they can record a video. Just the camera is built into the earpiece, and the camera is looking at whatever you're looking at, and it can take a video. But they also programmed these cameras to be able to read text or describe scenes. If you ask the key questions, did you have to ask a question, read text, or what am I seeing?
I just put it up in front of my eyes and it read.
Okay, so there are other brands that...
There's a lot of them. His were pretty expensive, he said. $500, but his parents bought them for him.
Well, the meta glasses are $300, $400 these days. There's Envision glasses, there's a Giga glasses, there's several others out there that are more on the $2,000 range that are more powerful than the meta glasses, but the meta glasses have literally changed the lives of many people who are totally blind. because they can stand there and say, what am I seeing? Or
I know.
read it out loud to
It's
me, and it
phenomenal.
reads it out loud. There's a little speaker in the earpiece that speaks right in your ear, so the whole world isn't hearing what it says, but the whole world hears you say, hey Meta, read, you know,
Yeah.
there's a prompt.
But I
for
didn't
it.
even say anything, I just
Yeah.
held it up and it read to me.
So that might be a different version,
Yeah,
but the
could be.
$500 range suggests it's Meta glasses, but that's where AI, I think, is helpful. And you can put your glasses prescription into them.
Right,
Literally,
that's
you're
right.
buying the frames and the earpieces with all the technology built
Yes.
in, and then you can pay extra to put your glasses prescription in. When you buy them, originally they have, you know, window pane lenses in them, or sunglasses transition lenses, so when you go outdoors, they become sunglasses. But that concept.
I was gonna also say, my sister, who is legally blind and has been for about 10 years, from glaucoma, but she was going to an optometrist, an older one, she had seen for years, and he told her she had cataracts. So when she went to get cataract surgery, they told her it was glaucoma. Already the damage had been done. But I was gonna say, in case anybody has children or grandchildren or whatever, her daughter, you know, that prompted them to get checked, and her daughter already had glaucoma at 50.
So, yeah, glaucoma can sneak up on you 40, 50, whatever, and you might not notice it in the beginning. Now, in the defense of the doctor,
He apologized to her.
no, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
there could be more to the story.
Yeah, there's different kinds of glaucoma.
Right, and there's, okay, so I'm extremely nearsighted. My eyes are not spherical, they're sort of like long, skinny things. And when I was getting cataracts and my ophthalmologist was telling me, you have cataracts, I'm like, oh, I can't deal with this. And he's like, oh, no, it's not time yet. And then he finally said, you'll know when it's time. And I started bumping into things because I wasn't seeing them. Bumping into people, bumping into the wall, bumping into people at the grocery store, grocery carts, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's time. I was terrified because I have so many other issues with my eyes. I didn't want to have cataract surgery. But what convinced me to get it was when my retina guy said, you could have problems with your retina that I, the doctor, cannot see because your cataracts are so pronounced, I won't be able to see into your eye. So it's possible
Yeah, could be.
that the glaucoma wasn't recognized because they couldn't see other issues in the eye. But, you know, but
Some of them, I don't know what the names are, but one of them, glaucoma, you can tell from the pressure numbers, and the other type you cannot,
yes and no, yes and no.
something like that.
They used to think glaucoma was detected strictly by abnormal eye pressure, but collecting more data over the last 20 years, they've realized no, glaucoma is not due to the pressure in your eye. Glaucoma is literally killing off of the nerve threads in your optic nerve that are going from your retina to your brain. Now, that may be caused by high pressure in your eye, but it may not be caused by that. It may be caused by other issues. So, yes, if the eye pressure in your eye is super high, yes, you probably are at high risk for glaucoma, but that's not the only way to detect glaucoma.
Yeah.
And now I'm on the slippery edge of ice here where I'm not a doctor, so please go see your doctors. I am not supposed to give medical advice, you know, I just repeat what I've heard doctors say, okay? Just to be safe. But yes, and there's nothing that says you can't, you know, conditions can be different in different eyes. You can also have macular degeneration and glaucoma simultaneously.
Yes.
That's no fun. But so very important to see specialists. If you don't think you're getting a good answer, go see somebody else. Go get a second opinion.
To go back to the glasses that read, there is a program that I use. I have the icon on my phone, and it's called Be My Eyes.
Oh, I can mention that now, sure.
Yeah.
So
and
there are a couple of free apps. That, that's not me. That's all I care about. There are Be My Eyes, BE space MY space EYES. Be My Eyes, and another app called Seeing AI, SEEING space AI. Both of those apps are free. Both are available for iPhones and Android phones. They have come light years in how well they work in the last 3 years. So Seeing AI can, once you turn it on, turn the app on in your phone camera starts looking at things. And if it sees text, it'll read it out loud to you immediately if it catches a snippet of text. So most of these AI gizmos, apps, work better or only work when you're connected to the Wi-Fi. Or have a very strong cell
they've
phone.
changed it. You have to have a Face ID.
Well, they may have updated the app recently.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Seeing AI can be used to read short text. It can be used to read a whole page of text out loud. Recognize faces if you, well, never mind, I'm not sure about that these days. Tell you colors, recognize currency, dollar bills. And scan barcodes and tell you what the product is, although the Trader Joe's barcodes are not in the system, but most common barcodes are. Be My Eyes has an AI part of it. Be My AI can also read text out loud to you, describe scenes, things like that. You can Be My Eyes also has the option to call a volunteer, and then that volunteer, when they pick up the phone, they're seeing through their phone what your phone camera is seeing. So you can point at something and say, I dropped a pillow on my floor and I cannot find it. And they're like, okay, get down closer, and you can say, I think it landed near here. And they'll say, move to the left, move to the right, okay, left. Oh, I think I see it. It's about a foot in front of your, a foot in front of your foot. They can tell you colors of clothes. They can help. They could read things, short things for you. But they're not licensed. They're trained and they're helpful. They're people like my daughter Anna, who's a Be My Eyes volunteer. There are 10 million Be My Eyes volunteers in the world. There are less than 1 million Be My Eyes users like me. They are in about 80 countries. When you register to Be My Eyes user, you say what language you speak and you give them your general location, because then they try to call somebody who speaks your languages in your part of the world. But both of those apps are very potentially helpful. Okay, maybe I should carry on. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so what I said about, there's the fixed things that are there that you have to deal with, but then maybe you can make some little tweaks and adjustments to your environment to make it more compatible with your vision. So I'm going to talk about light. Like I said, light, glare, and contrast. Light. You need enough light, not too much. This room has too much light for me. Thank you, whoever, Jen, Jean, or Emily, who closed the blinds, because that was causing glare for me. But generally speaking, since you need more light, the first thing to think of is adding light to the room if it's too dim. Your living room, maybe it was bright enough 10 years ago and you're like, wow, light bulbs just aren't what they used to be. And maybe it's your eyes aren't what they used to be. So add a task light. Right, I might be a little off track here, but I'm going to go forward. So on the left, a pole light. That light is about 6 feet tall. So the top of that light is up above my head, and it's projecting light up at the ceiling. But that throws light into the whole room. The one that I have has different colors of light, different Kelvin colors. Kelvin is the way they measure colors. 2500, 2700 kelvins is sort of like incandescent light bulbs of yesteryear. 3000 kelvins to 3500 is sort of like daylight. And sometimes they'll use the terminology daylight or bright white. It's very confusing, but look at the kelvins to get a sense of whether it's a little bit yellowish or white or shockingly white, but it has a lot of blue in it at 3500, 4000 kelvins. But anyway, I can also adjust the brightness, the lumens, the luminosity, but it helps light up my whole office, sort of a background glow, which is useful to me. I have a friend who has 2 in her living room, because the lights that were built in her apartment just aren't cutting it. You could have a smaller task light that could sit on a table. I recommend, again, if you buy one, this is an example of a task light, think about getting one that has different colors. This is the yellowish color, and then with a tap of my finger, when my finger's warm enough, it changes colors. No, it doesn't, not today.
It's changing.
That's changing.
Okay, good. So this one has 3 different colors, but only 1 brightness. But it sits right at the table. You could have this in your kitchen where you're chopping food. You could have it on your desk. You could have it, pick it up and move it easily because it's got a rechargeable battery in it. This is another example of a task light. These are commonly called hug lights because they hug your neck, or neck lights. But the advantage of this is it's hands-free. I can be doing whatever I want to do, but this light travels with me. I can aim it at things. I'm going to turn it on, and hopefully, I think it's bright enough in here that it won't blind you. But that's on the yellowish color. This one has 3 colors and 3 brightnesses, which I always have a hard time getting, which is which. That's dimmer. And this is the different colors. Oh, maybe I have that backwards. But anyway, I can use this walking around the house at night so that I don't have to turn on light switches everywhere I go. A friend of mine has a different version of this that's just white, bright light she uses when she's walking her dog at dusk. My husband prefers to use a headlamp, it's a band on his head. Those drive me crazy, but he loves it. It lights up exactly what he's looking at. It's perfect, it works with him. So adding light can be beneficial, but think about the color of light. You can swap out the light bulbs in every lamp and fixture you have in your home, but figure out what, maybe do a trial run of different kelvins for different colors to see which ones your eyes like best. But it's tricky because different times of day, different lights are better. It's a bit of trial and error, and for everybody's eyes, it's a little different. Okay, too much light can cause glare. So I mentioned the glare in the room and closing the blinds. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I go to a restaurant. Oh, just today at the Fairway Cafe, I looked at the table where my husband said, let's sit here. And I said, I'll sit on that side because my back was going to be towards the brighter windows. Yes, I was looking at windows on the other side, but they weren't nearly as bright. The sun was over there. You can wear a hat. I often wear hats outdoors. They give me a bad hair day, so I don't wear them as often as I should. But I use this as an extra clue for people to see me, because since I don't see other people, I have this crazy phobia about, since I don't see other people, I'm afraid they think I'm invisible and they don't see me. So I'm often wearing bright yellow jackets or orange jackets or yellow or orange hat. That's just me. But I figured 2 birds with 1 stone. I can wear a bright yellow hat. My mom and my mother-in-law, bless their hearts, they're both in heaven many years since, they used to get in such a tither if anybody walked into their house wearing a hat with a brim. You're supposed to take your hat off at the door. Well, I'm here to tell you, I will forgive anybody who wears a hat indoors, even at my dining room table. If they're wearing that hat, I don't know if it's because the light's bothering them, and I'm not going to be intrusive and tell them to stop wearing that hat. A hat can be beneficial. indoors, outdoors, sunny days, cloudy days. Even cloudy days have a lot of glare. And glare is literally just too much light in your eyes all at once, or reflections into your eyes. So when you have a light in your room, if you add a light by the chair where you're sitting, have the light come over your shoulder so that light on the page of the book is reflecting, bouncing off, the excess light's bouncing away from you. You can't do that with all lights, but the ceiling lights, so you see me wearing my yellow over glasses, I might equally well wear orange over glasses if it's really bright. On a bright sunny day, even bright cloudy days, the orange helps me better. In stores with fluorescent lights, I'll walk into the store thinking, oh, I'm coming from outside to indoors, I can take my glasses off, and then I'm like, nope, put them right back on. Yellow over glasses, orange over glasses, amber, brown ones, I wear those on very bright snowy days. There's a ton of extra light reflecting off of snow, or at the beach, light reflecting off the sand or the water. But it depends on your eyes. Many people who have macular degeneration, yellow over glasses help. It not only helps cut down the glare, it helps enhance the edges of objects, the edges of steps, the edges of things you need to see to distinguish things. I've even had people in low vision groups say, here, try these, and they'll put them, and I'll say, the test is, can you see the people in the room a little bit better? Can you see features on their face a little bit better? And a way to tell if glare bothers you is a simple experiment. Put your hand flat up against your eyebrows, like the visor of a cap. And just by cutting out some of that ceiling light, can you see a little bit better? And if that's true, then you're having issues with glare. The only way to know whether these different color over glasses will help you either with glare or enhancing contrast is to try them. I have not gotten a doctor to explain to me what or why the physics of it works. But I know for myself that blue light, the blue bright sky and the blue light from a computer screen and the blue light from LED headlights really bothers me. And the yellow and orange over glasses cut down on that blue light. That physics I'm pretty sure of. When my husband got out of the car today, I looked at him and I was looking at my pants and I said, boy, we're the black brigade today. I thought he had on a black jacket. His dark gray pants looked like faded black pants to me. And I knew my pants were black. And he said, well, Sandy, I'm actually wearing a blue jacket. And this has happened to me more than once. I'll look at things and I'll think it's black when I'm wearing my orange over glasses, and it turns out that the orange really cuts out the blue, and what's left is apparently black. So, it's a trial and error thing, but if you put those glasses on, and you're welcome to try these afterwards, and you say, oh, that's cool, then maybe they'll help you. If you put them on and you say, now what am I supposed to see? It's not making any difference to your eyes. So it's trial and error. Other ways to cut sit with your back to in your own home. You can adjust your environment. If you have reflective surfaces in your home that are bothering you, like shiny surfaces, you could just put a placemat on top of something to cut down that glare. Give it a whirl. So now I'm going to talk about contrast, which when I was a kid, I did not know that I had depth perception issues and I had contrast issues. So now as an adult, I understand these words and these concepts, but it took me years to try and really, really understand it. So contrast is, well, let me give you an example. How many people put their smartphone down and then they come back and they can't find it because their smartphone blends into whatever they put it on? You put a pen down, you can't find it. You put your glasses down, you can't find them. I was at a low vision retreat a couple weeks ago, and one woman after the second day said, Sandy, I put blue bump dots on my glasses and now I can find them when I put them down. Something to enhance the difference between what you're looking at and what you're trying to find and what's around it. So an example of no contrast, the edges of steps. I can walk up steps pretty well because as you're walking up, so this, oh, I've got to go, pardon me. We're in my inverted color world. Maybe this will show it a little bit better. On the left, as you're looking at the edges of the face of the steps, you can see it pretty well. There's different color. The top surface of the step and the front face are different, so you can see that going up. But turn around and try to go down some steps. Actually, this is a different staircase on the right, but never mind. This is in a professional building, this picture on the right. And when I'm standing at the top, now this picture, the camera enhanced it better than my eyes could see it. It just was all one color going down. And I hold on to the railing, thank goodness they put railings, and I tippy-toe out to the edge. Once I get the hang of walking down it, I can do step, step, step. But to start with, it's tricky. So that's one of my places that I'm extra cautious these days. So this one on the left is in the Prevention of Blindness Society's headquarters, where they tried to make the whole building very low vision friendly. And you can see the edges of the steps going down easily. The one on the right is at a retirement community that will remain nameless. But the residents had complained that there weren't, the edges of the steps weren't clear. So the management put on these yellow and black stripes. And then all the residents came back and said, oh my God, it's like a dazzle pattern. It's just too crazy. It's too much visual information. And technically, if they put it on the top step, the first and last step, the top and bottom step would be appropriate. A plain yellow stripe or a plain black stripe on the other steps would have been sufficient, or no marking at all on the other steps. But this really is overkill. And it is distracting. It's sort of hard to get your head wrapped around.
You can't see the stairs at all.
No, well, that's partly the angle that I took the picture at,
Oh,
but
okay.
yes.
But
You-
all it's just the
Yeah,
stripes.
when you're at the top of when you're 3 feet from the top step, you're like, what is this? It's a little crazy. And also you can use, so in the built environment, you know, if you build it right the first place, these are two different examples of restrooms. The one on the left is at the Prevention of Blindness Society, where they purposefully built in contrasting color grab bars, contrasting color toilet seat, contrasting edge where the floor meets the wall. The one on the right is a hotel I was at for a low vision retreat, but that's not why the hotel was built. Anyway, I walked into that bathroom, and again, the camera enhanced what I could see. It looked all one color to me. Floors, walls, the grab bars completely blended into the walls. The camera does pick them up better than I could when I walked in there, but I walked in and I'm like, oh my gosh, here's another example of no contrast. So I talked about using your eyes, using your ears, but you can also enhance your world with other things like tactile, touching things. And this also can sort of help with contrast. So I put yellow tape on many things to help contrast. My phone. I have a 50-50 chance of finding my phone. If I put it down this way, I might see it again. If I put it down this way, it's gone. But yellow tape, this is 3M electrical tape. It's about $5 or $6 a roll at Home Depot and Lowe's. And I brought other colors, just sort of a sample kit of colors to show you. You can buy black, blue, green, red, pink, green, white. And if you're trying to, enhance something, you could put a different colored piece of tape on it to help you see it better. You can also use these things called bump dots. Okay, this is what that lady was talking about, putting blue bump dots on her glasses, earpieces, so she could see it. I recently bought these are coasters, yellow, These are ridiculously expensive. Yellow coaster, red coaster. This would be good for my wine glass, although I use stemless wine glasses after tipping over way too many tall wine glasses. The yellow one I found was good for my coffee mug because our kitchen counter is sort of this gray speckle and everything disappears on it. So the yellow coaster helps me find my coffee cup. Use things to your advantage. Rubber bands, simplest thing in the world. When you're in the shower, shampoo, 1 rubber band because you use it first. Conditioner, 2 rubber bands because you use it second. In our refrigerator not too long ago, the quart of half and half and the quart of heavy cream, which I now have to give up, but anyway. The half and half had 1 rubber band on it, the heavy cream had 2 because they had twice as much fat in it. They were identical cartons except for the tiny word that said half and half or heavy cream. You know, these people, they want you to know what company made it. They don't want you to know what it is, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, okay, I think, time for me to tell you about some resources, and then if we have time, I'll go to questions. So, yeah, enhancing contrast with overglasses, tape, bump dots, whatever. But really, to sum it up, the goal of my whole presentation is to reassure you, yes, you may lose vision. And what vision you lose, you probably will not get back. People who have eye strokes and things, sometimes crazy new connections get built in your brain and you may regain some vision, but most of the time, macular degeneration, glaucoma, diabetes, loss of vision, RP, you don't get that back. Not yet. They have the world is working on it, but they're not there yet. So live a happy life. Go out, be sociable, go to, lectures, even if you're like, oh, that sounds vaguely interesting, maybe I'll give it a try. Give it a try. You never know what you might learn. If you're the person who's got good vision and you've got friends who are losing vision, those people are still the people you knew. And you being a friend to them is still really important. Low vision people often feel a sense of isolation, and overcoming that isolation, that self-imposed isolation, is really important to get out and do stuff. And just be yourself. You are always a great human being. Keep being a great human being. So now for my infomercial about the Prevention of Blindness Society. They have a monthly newsletter. They have several monthly virtual low vision meetings. They've got Tech Talk Tuesday is the 3rd Tuesday of the month. They've got the Town Hall the 3rd Wednesday of the month. Their in-person meetings might be a little bit far for you to go to in the DC area, but over the internet, you're welcome to join Zoom meetings. You're welcome to sign up for their Seeing Hope newsletter that comes out monthly that can lead you to more resources. They have a ginormous resource list that's available online that you can search. Yes, they would love donations. They're a nonprofit organization. But I'm also going to give an infomercial for a couple of other groups. The Hadley Helps, HADLEY, HELPS.org. They have many online podcasts, discussions with doctors, little learning modules about how to do things in your own home, how, orientation and mobility. They have a lot of classes on how to do visual enhancements on iPhones and Androids. They have got so many resources going that are recorded, available online, and they're free. And they're a nonprofit. Of course they would love donations too. But to sign up and use their website, you do have to register like a name and an email, but you don't have to donate money to do that. The American Council of the Blind, they do a lot of stuff. The National Federation of the Blind also does, and the National Federation of the Blind has chapters around the state. The ACB currently just has one ACB VA, a group, but many, many resources out there. So questions, again, I tend to talk a lot, and I should give you guys opportunities to ask questions.
Can you describe what the Silver Bells program, the weekend retreat, what is that about?
So the National Federation of the Blind, Virginia, NFBV, did a lot of grant writing and got some money to do what they call a Silver Bells retreat, and Bells stands for Blind and Education and Learning. I don't know, I can't remember what the BELLS stands for, but it's silver because you have to be 55 plus and live in Virginia to participate, and they're in their 5th year of doing it, and they've had like February, March, and May, although other years it's been February, March, and April. They have one in Virginia Beach, one in Sterling, Virginia, and then one in Richmond. And for 2 days, well, Thursday afternoon till Sunday late morning, so 2.5 days. It's a crash course in orientation and mobility, learning to use a white cane, learning how to navigate, what apps are out there that might help you with navigation, how do you get through an airport, suggestions. Home skills, a little bit about cooking, aids to help you, things that you can use for, paying, writing checks and stuff like that. There's one about communications where they'll teach you a crash course in Braille, and just learning the first 10 letters and knowing that with an extra bump, those are the 1 through 0, can help you, like in airplanes, reading seat numbers, or in hotels, or every elevator you get in that's younger than about ancient has Braille keys, Braille bumps along with the numbers. And then the fourth one was tech. So they thought I was an Android expert and asked me to volunteer and help teach things for Android. So I had a crash course. I kind of think I might have taught about as much as I learned about Androids. But it was good because we had one-on-one. We had general information about technology, computers, phones, apps, and then we broke into small groups and had one-on-one Android or iPhone learning skills. So I think their one for Richmond, which is going to be May 14th to 17th, may be filled up already. I don't know that for sure, but you could certainly reach out if they have slots available. And they do usually put up a waiting list because, like everything, 20 people sign up and at the last minute 3 people are sick, and they can't come. So they do keep a waiting list, and it's free. That's the amazing thing. Some really hardworking grant proposal people get the funding to do that. The hotel, the food, it's covered.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
So I went as a participant a couple years ago to see how the program worked, and they invited me back this year to help with Android phones.
That sounds great.
But if not this year, next year. And it's ACB, American Council of the Blind, has a program in the summer for adults. And I think they have 2 sessions that are each 1 week long at their headquarters campus in Richmond. So that's another possibility, and that's sort of a 4-day crash course in, if you've got vision issues and you're trying to figure out how to navigate the world in the sense of, what do I do now? What are all the possibilities out there? So that's another thing you could look into if you're interested.
And I have handouts, if anybody wants a handout, let me know.
And the handout, yeah, I did list a lot of things on the handout, where to find stuff. It doesn't go in exactly the same order as the presentation, but you can sort of look through things about transportation, how to sign up for the Talking Books, where to sign up for the Talking Books program,
Be my eyes. To be my eyes. I can
Yeah.
be my eyes.
Anybody else need a handout?
And if you prefer to have it digitally on your computer so that you blow it up bigger,
Yep, we'll make it available.
get Jean to contact Jean.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sandy, this has been wonderful.
Yes, and
Or did you have, more to finish up, or, okay?
I think I've covered it. I do want you to feel welcome to come, take a closer look at the things I brought for show and tell.
Okay.
You know, and ask more questions if you have more questions.
And if I could add, if anyone needs an application for those books on tape, they can contact me, I have them.
An application for what was that?
Books on tape,
Oh, books on tape.
yeah, from the Library of
So
Congress, I have
Gail's
them.
saying she has applications.
I have applications for them.
So, please fill out your surveys, our presenters and we really appreciate it, and if you need assistance filling out your survey, we have our health and wellness volunteers here at the registration table. But please, as Sandy said, feel free to come up and look at her show and tell, and thank you so much again for being here, it was really great.
Sure.